So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. Let's face it, nobody when it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, EJAmoving.com. Including your bag, let the professionals.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar, brought to you by the Events Code. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
I was just watching my my Thundercat stuff online. So.
Oh, boy.
Nice.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm all jazzed up. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Not much. We gotta stop talking about toys for a few minutes, though, man.
The toys that made me. Screw all you guys. Hey, listen, I'm Rich
God.
Masucci. You're watching 3 and Out. Of course, brought to you by MyGarageBar.com and Disruption Network. Boy, it's like we did this before.
I know.
So it's like we've done this for 3 years. Yeah.
It was like forever.
I know it. Yeah, we took, what 2 weeks off?
2 weeks off, yeah.
Good gravy, man. Good gravy. Let me go ahead and bring you guys in because there you go. All right. And, it was since before the break, before Christmas, right?
Yeah, the week before, because it was Christmas Eve and then New Year's Eve, so we just decided nobody wanted to listen to us.
That's right. Very true.
And we didn't want to be here.
Yeah. But and we were doing the hockey show, so I was like not even thinking. But yeah, how was the holidays for you guys?
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's the short version.
I was supposed to go over your house, and I ended up working. I didn't even see you on the holidays, man.
No, I know. It wasn't until after that we got to, because it was a long couple weeks there, too. We didn't really watch too much football, together at least.
Right.
You know.
We were doing our own thing.
Exactly.
But that's good, though. The holidays worked out for everybody, right? Yeah, good stuff. Moss, yes?
Hey.
Yeah?
Well, I'm going to do this now just because we have to do it. I know we can say Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New
but
Year.
we have a little bit of a different reason to celebrate.
Oh,
She's going to get it over with.
Let's do it.
Oh.
Shit.
Pop it.
Yeah.
We are going
Pop
to
it, not over.
celebrate
Pop it.
If she can get the damn
Pop
thing
it.
open.
Are you really pop?
There it is.
Mazel tov.
the Patriots losing
Yes.
in the playoffs. So
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
In the
So
first
I'm going to
round,
pour some
yeah.
champagne for everybody.
All
There
right.
you go.
We can drink up during the show.
You're going to twist
Big
my arm
celebration.
Yeah.
Big celebration.
Yeah, and that was obviously we're going to talk about it in just a minute, but that might have been the biggest news out of this whole week.
Just about.
That was
yeah.
the biggest celebration of the week, bar none. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Good times.
and you don't look like Ray Nation.
I do. And you know what? Maybe. I don't know.
Obviously, Ray
little?
Nation not
A
with
little.
us again tonight. I feel bad because he didn't even know we had a show. I called him a little while
Yeah.
ago, and I was like, "You coming in? He's for what?"
Oopsies.
Exactly.
So you, my friend, you,
Yes,
Ray
sir.
Party, get the
Yes.
call.
Yes, sir.
And that's all right because we wanted to talk a little bit about the Dolphins.
Yes.
With you. We're going to get that all out in the open.
Finally.
We should probably thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
At least the Dolphins. Hold on, let me get my champagne here.
There we
At
go.
least the Dolphins for setting the Patriots into that wild card round,
Yes.
Ooh.
and
Yes.
that leading to their untimely defeat. Right?
Oh, it was timely.
Timely.
It was timely.
It was good stuff, though, man. I had a good time watching football this
Yeah.
week.
And before we continue with that, go into that. I saw this today. I was going to send it to you. It was on Facebook. It was a meme on Facebook. It's two minions. All right. And have you seen this one
Of
already?
course, man.
It's the funniest damn thing I've ever seen, by the way. One minion who's very serious and pissy has a New England Patriots logo over his head. The other minion who's wild, crazy, sticking his tongue out, losing his mind, making crazy amounts of noise. Dolphins logo.
Yes.
It's the greatest thing. You
I
have
haven't
to
seen
You
that.
Well,
have
just-
to find this thing.
Well, just think about it. What fans should be more happy right now? Should it be the Dolphins fans or Patriot fans? Because at the
After
beginning
that
of
one,
the year,
yeah.
it was opposite.
Oh yeah. Then
So-
I think there's a sour taste, which we'll probably talk about a little bit.
I love
more.
it. It's
Yeah.
a sweet.
You know, I didn't see the Minion video because I was too busy watching the receivers video. Did you see that?
But what?
That guy, that guy we don't mention.
Yeah,
Whole-
what in the
whole lot of
actual-
money.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Get that. out of
Oh
here.
why? Oh why? Oh why?
He's lost it, man. He really has.
Yeah.
He's totally lost it. I think they need to check him because that concussion left him in a very bad way.
It was
But I do have a joke for you guys. I started off last time with a joke. So I do
Okay,
have-
let's try this again.
Oh boy, I'm scared. I'm a little frightened.
Yeah.
What is cold and underneath a street lamp?
Cold and underneath a street lamp.
Yeah.
What's that?
A prostitute.
All right.
Yes.
Cheers.
Mazel tov.
Here.
Drink up.
Oh my!
And that's how we begin.
Maybe I should have brought
Yes.
2 bottles.
That's how we bring up.
that's why you
first,
brought me here.
First episode of this of the
Of the
new
year.
year
2020.
with Ray's horrible frog.
Yes. I have another one, but we'll save that for
We need one of those sound effect packs.
Yeah.
Man. Remember Mr. Sula whenever he goes on Howard said, "Oh my!"
Oh, how come I can't get a segment where I just tell a bad joke every week?
Well,
I think you're actually doing that.
Yeah,
anyway.
he's
I'm
doing it
making my
anyway.
own. I'm making history right now.
Now we just got to get Todd on the production value of it.
Yeah,
It'll be okay.
Todd, man. What do you call a dog that knows magic?
I'm afraid to even.
You should be afraid.
Yeah. Okay. Go
A
ahead.
labracadabrador.
What's wrong with you?
Oh
Great.
my gosh.
Did you already give him some of the champagne?
I know. We took drink a whole
No,
bottle
yeah,
before we
that's-
started the show.
We've been
What
popping
just happened
bottles.
here?
Yeah.
We haven't had a bomb like this since Johnny Magic came out.
Wow.
So it's gonna be a good show, guys.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill me for that one.
Yes, he is. Oh man.
Good.
It's a good show because none of our teams
Good
are,
show.
are in the
Yes.
playoffs. So here we go.
Oh God!
Sorry, Jamie.
Let's stop.
It's okay. It's okay.
I've known my team since week 7 isn't gonna be in it, so this is fine. This is great.
I remember John came on and sent himself a banana in the middle. Oh dear God!
We're off
Leave
the
Johnny
rails
Magic
already.
Yeah, we are. Let's talk some football.
Yeah,
let's do
a
that.
whole lot to talk about. Let's start in the AFC. Obviously, the big game. Well, we'll save the
They're
big
all
game
big
because we
games.
want to talk about that. But Jamie, let's start with your game. And
Okay.
I'm gonna. Should we count you out of this conversation?
No, it's fine.
No, you're gonna do it. You've come to terms with it, right?
I came to it, I think, pretty quick because when I came back to the bar,
Yeah.
I was in a much better place at that point.
Truly, this was a game like a tale of two halves. Because that first half, I got to tell you, man, Buffalo Bills were in cruise control.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they went to the break. They went to the half. They came back, and all of a sudden, the Houston Texans just they unleashed everything that was going right went suddenly wrong. And I guess Jamie, no better person to tell us about what happened on that than you, my friend.
Sure. And this has taken 4 days for me to come to grips with, but easy starting point on this one. First off, actually, right out of the break of the half, they started fine. Actually, this third quarter did not start poorly. It was, I want to say, the third drive for the Texans. That was the one.
Yeah.
And that was mostly due to a field goal to put them up 16-0. And then the ensuing drive that the Bills had was a fumble at the 50. Or, excuse me, it was a touchdown drive and then a fumble at the 50, which led to another field goal. That's when the wheels really came off. And the easy, simple answer of what went wrong is the youth of the Buffalo Bills showed up. And that's the problem. That's a team that, unfortunately, throughout this entire season has had issues of really stepping on throats because they've had leads like this and have just let teams hang around. For the most part, it didn't bite them. This time it did. And it looked, for the first time pretty much all season, since week 4 at least, when they played the Patriots, Josh Allen looked absolutely flustered for a good, solid 10 minutes of that fourth quarter. Yep. He was doing some crazy stuff.
A little lateral action.
I don't know what the hell that was.
He's doing too much.
Yeah, he tried to win the game on every move.
Yeah.
Not even every play. Everything he did had to win the game. And that's unfortunate, but you just see the youth. That was the biggest issue. Also looking at that, though, they did enough to kind of recompose themselves, tie the game. They even had a shot in overtime.
They had the momentum going.
They did actually have a chance to kind of recollect and come back and walk out of Houston with a win. The last thing that just drove me absolutely crazy on that was a blindside block on, I'm pretty sure it was Cody Ford that they called, or Ty Inseki, one of the right tackles. That wasn't an actual penalty. It wasn't a blindside block. It would have set up a fairly long Hauschka kick. Instead, Houston ends up taking the ball after a punt, and then that was it. That was the final drive. I would have liked to at least see an attempt for the Bills to put some points up, because they seemed that they earned that shot, and just a terrible call by the Stripes on that one.
There was a couple in that game.
There were a few, and I'm not blaming that on what went wrong. It's just, but they were there, and they definitely helped a little bit as far as not regain any momentum.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering the way I think I remember, that was also there should have been a delay of game penalty.
Yeah, I'm not even that. There should have been. I'm not even that pissy about that one.
I would.
I should be. But there's a few others. The weird kickoff to start the third.
Yeah,
which we talked about that. I'm actually okay that they didn't call that a touchdown.
I will totally agree with it.
Yeah.
He obviously he surrendered himself.
Yes.
But at the same time, that was like
Deshaun Jackson. That's the first name I said. It's a Deshaun Jackson movement right there, and you shouldn't reward somebody for being dumb. And that was a dumb decision. Looking back at that, if you really want to hit the rules on that, what should have been called is an illegal forward pass, because he basically caught the ball, didn't down it, didn't attempt to, and just flipped it forward towards the ref, and it hits the ground. It's a safety, not a touchdown, but still, it should have been called that way if you want to nitpick and really look at it. But they basically rewarded him like, oh, you know what? He just did something stupid. It's okay. No, you go through the entire motion of the rules. You got to down the damn ball. So you shouldn't be rewarded for that. But I said at the bar the other night, like, I didn't want to see him get that touchdown anyway.
I seen him make the motion, and the motion,
he gave himself up. It's fine,
But yeah, it's one of those plays where you're just like,
just say it's okay. You're forgiven for this one, dummy. Don't do it again.
Moss, what did you see in that game?
What I see in the Bills game, exactly what Jamie said. I mean, the youth got the best of them. They're a very inexperienced team. They, no experience in the playoffs, and regardless of if there was bad calls or not, we won't go there. Just like you guys talked about, I just don't think that they were ready. But you can't take away anything from the Bills this season. They really did. They played good. They even played very good for majority of that game. They just,
it's one of those things.
Watson just got the best of them in the game.
Going back to the beginning of the season when we were all making our predictions, who's going to make it to the playoffs, who's going to be there at the end. I want to say you might have been the only one, Jamie.
I was laughed at.
Yeah,
actually, for saying that the Bills were going to make the playoffs, and I even said 10 wins.
Yeah, well, let's think about who we all said. I mean, obviously, we were all saying the Patriots. Patriots are going to win the whole thing, right?
Yep.
But we also said at that point,
Kansas City, I know we said.
Kansas City said the Steelers were probably going to win the AFC North. And I think everybody was saying the Texans were probably going to win.
Yes.
Because that was also about the time when Andrew Luck had already kind of, bailed. But the wild card spots were very much, everybody was saying the Cleveland Browns.
That was one of them.
And who was the other one that we were going?
It probably would have been the Chargers. I would assume people would have picked the Chargers.
We talked the Chargers. I think we even threw maybe a Ravens out there.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Baltimore.
At some point. But it was the only one. And I did it on two shows. I said it on this one and also on the D-line. And I was almost laughed out of the building on the D-line. I was like, just wait, guys. Just wait. So I was right there.
Wow.
I mean, let's give it up to Houston, obviously.
Right.
They played a good game.
Yeah.
I mean, what'd you think of them?
So you guys have pretty much covered Buffalo. I think you guys did a good job. And there's nothing else that I have to say except the first scripted 15 to 20 plays for Buffalo when they were aggressive.
Beautiful.
They could have gone back to that, and that would have worked. Yep. But Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback at this point in time than Allen. And the Bills do not have a receiver anywhere on the elite level as DeAndre Hopkins.
No.
So I think that's what's missing from Buffalo. I told Jamie I did think the Bills were going to make the playoffs this year. I don't have a record of that anywhere online. But I've been telling him all year they need a true number one receiver. I like Brown. I like they don't use Foster at all, and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the component that they're missing. Everything else is gelling. They obviously all rally around each other. They're going to be dangerous. I told them they were 1 year away. this year. I knew they were going to make the playoffs, but they didn't have enough yet. And they all needed that experience. But Houston, if they get like a legit offensive line, they're very dangerous.
Yeah. No, they got
And
to, yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea how Deshaun Watson got out of that sack
know.
when
Yeah.
2 people hit him. And nobody's talking enough about that play because that was
That was the
magical.
turning point. Yeah.
That's legendary. That should be on replay all day, every day, because that was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson made plays,
Yes.
the biggest plays of the game, and those were the important ones, and that's what got him the win.
Yeah, and he has a surefire number 1. He's probably top 2 receiver in the league besides Michael Thomas, I would say. He's elite. He will catch the ball 98% of the time if it's in his radius. I think last year he went an entire season without a drop.
Yes. That is actually true.
That's how, and nobody talks about him because he's not flashy. He's not putting up awesome music videos like Antonio Brown.
Well, who is?
He's very Michael Thomas ish, where he catches the ball, he hands it back, and then he's just that's what separates Houston from Buffalo right now.
Yeah. You know, and the other thing I want to kind of bring up is we were joking about it before the game, saying, oh, J.J. Watt coming back. It's just going to be kind of like, getting his name in there.
Yeah.
More deception than anything else. He actually disrupted the hell out of that game.
Just having him on the field made a difference for the whole defense as a whole.
So I do feel that definitely played a lot into it. But it'll be interesting to see how they go from this point on. Because I think for the last couple of weeks of the season, we didn't really have a whole lot of faith in Houston. So I don't know.
The biggest problem with Houston is they're very inconsistent,
Right.
And that is one of the bigger problems with that. Ray's already hit this a little bit. The offensive line is the biggest issue of that inconsistency. The Bills got to him all day, and the only thing that you saw was 6 sacks. That doesn't mean the rest of the pressure that was there, and obviously the one where the double hit doesn't count.
I have no idea.
I don't know how he stood up.
The other guy pushed him back up and he caught his balance.
It's
and
the
he was
strangest thing.
dead to rights on both sides.
Yes.
And it was game over.
And he was hit well by both. Saran Neal, I believe, was the first, and then it was Matt Milano. And he was hit solid by both of them and still managed to stay up. That's just sheer will.
But
there's nothing else you can say.
You saw
about
in the
that.
game earlier in the year, he got kicked in the face and couldn't see and still threw a touchdown and won the game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think enough people are talking about Deshaun Watson.
As one of the better quarterbacks, which he is, but he needs an offensive line. Laramie Tunsil went to the Pro Bowl and just got friggin' smoked by Jerry Hughes. And this is a 30-year-old guy that doesn't really get to the he pressures the quarterback, but does not get to him. Laramie Tunsil got smoked all day by him.
So who traded Laramie Tunsil for 2 first round?
Hey, there's our first Miami Dolphin one. There you go. Thankfully, they took the bell away from. Oh no, they gave him the bell back.
I won't ring it.
When I'm talking about Houston going forward, though, when you look at Houston's defense, they were able to keep Josh Allen in check. I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Patrick Mahomes. There's no way.
Secondary's way too weak.
Yeah,
The secondary's
don't
too
have
weak.
they don't have the defense to be able to, and I don't think they have the offense to keep up with Kansas City's at all.
Yeah, you're right. Kansas City has more elite weapons though than Buffalo. They have a number 1 receiver,
Yes.
probably questionably the best tight end if you want to go.
Yeah.
Kittle versus Kelsey, and then all of the other
Definitely the best
receivers
tight end
are
in the
so
AFC.
fast. So fast. Yeah, it's
Speed's going to cause a problem, but the beauty of this is Houston's beaten them already.
right.
So it comes down to what they have to do. They have to control the clock the same way that they did in the regular season game. They ran the ball with Hyde a ton, which was a great idea because Kansas City decided, we don't want to stop you anyway.
Yeah, it's
So that's gonna be problem number 1. That if they kind of just rehash that. But the second part is the defense was able to somehow stay the course and keep up with speed. But that was also when Jonathan Joseph was still healthy at the corner. Gibson, who's now on IR because J.J. Watt came back, that was their starting safety at the time, and he's gone. They don't really have depth in the secondary or the same speed, so I think they're in trouble there too.
yeah, but Kansas
City is not the same team that they were
Which
when they
I
lost.
agree. Which I agree.
Mahomes was dealing with the ankle injury. I think Tyreek Hill had just come back. It was his first week back, so he didn't have the speed that he's got now. So I just don't think Houston has a chance against Kansas City. I have to be honest with you. I really don't.
If they can keep it close, I mean, you can't say Watson can't pull it out.
No, I agree.
But-
I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up with them.
And I think you're right, Moss. That plus Kansas City's defense in the last
playing
8
better.
games
It's playing a
versus the
lot
first
better.
8 games,
Playing a lot
there's a
better.
huge difference. You're right.
I'm going to tell you what, if they fall asleep at the wheel like they did for the first half in this one, they're
Sure.
gonna
It's going to be too far to.
Oh, it's going to be done.
Yeah, they're not
Gonna
going to
be
catch up with
absolutely
that.
So I think, are we all in agreement here, Kansas City?
Yeah, I got them. I had them as my Super Bowl pick on this show.
Oh, okay, yeah. There you go.
So I'm on the record. And you were right about Philly. I want to call that out because we said Dallas.
Yeah,
you were
we did.
right.
Yep.
However, I was right about Tennessee. I was the only one that said Tennessee.
You did say
I
Tennessee.
did say
Yep.
Can I say that right now, though? I know I'm only 4 teams to choose from.
Beat the Patriots?
I think
Yeah,
Kansas
don't-
City wins the AFC.
Never mind.
You think what?
Kansas City wins the AFC.
I
That's
won't.
how I feel
I
now.
won't. I won't change. I still said the Ravens, and I'm not one to tap dance. So
That game makes me nervous, the Ravens game.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into that.
Let's get right into that.
Let's
What
go
are we
for
talking
it.
about?
Obviously, wait, get those glasses up. And I know there's going to be some Patriots fans out here that don't want to hear this, but
Ew.
America is celebrating, man. The freaking Pats are gone,
Yes.
and I know your boy Mike Christmas. It was going
oh my
bananas
god,
online.
like it actually angered me, and part of this was like Buffalo Bill anger.
Yes,
That,
I'm good.
that after
That's
the
more.
fact, when I got home on Saturday night and I see all these things, I got into an online war with him.
Me too, but
Of course.
which Ray was involved with. I couldn't
was.
take it anymore. I got in an online war with a whole bunch of people.
Set this up though. You have to understand about Mike Christmas. Mike Christmas is a Miami Dolphins fan.
no, he's not. He got
Alleged-
kicked off. I kicked him off the
allegedly.
bandwagon.
Oh yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
about a
Yeah,
decade
he's
ago,
gone.
Well,
bro.
still, yeah, but
he's
he's
supposed to be.
supposed to be.
He wears a
Allegedly.
Tom Brady jersey, and then he wears a Brett Favre Jets jersey. That's illegal.
That's not right.
Man.
So he just supports
Illegal.
the AFC East,
It's illegal.
well,
It's illegal.
except for the Dolphins,
It's illegal.
except for the Dolphins.
Nah,
his supposed
this is
favorite.
a bandwagon of one, and he is not on it, bro.
But he's said for a long time the reason why everybody's celebrating is they just hate Tom Brady so much they're blinded to his accomplishments. I'm going to tell you what.
on.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I'm gonna go the other way with it. I'm gonna say that most people
I'm spinning.
they're just tired of seeing the Patriots. That's what it really comes
Yeah.
down to. Regardless of what they feel, Tom Brady's done whatever. It's refreshing not to have them in the Super Bowl again,
Yeah.
and to see everybody else have a chance. People may forget this, but Michael Jordan, when he was doing all those marvelous things back then, people were rooting against him.
Yeah.
Like Chicago fans loved it. The rest of the fans of the NBA were like, freaking get this guy out of here. We just want to see somebody else. So kind of the same thing. Mazat's joining, and I'm going to tackle this in 1 second. But yeah, it was good to see him not in. Mazat checked in. He said, best part of the Pats game was when the penalties on purpose were going on. Watching Belichick
Yeah.
go crazy was awesome.
Yeah,
And
something
all
against
within the
him.
rules. Yes, we
Yes.
definitely have to talk about
Yes.
that. The
Yes.
the student outfoxed the teacher on
And
it.
he got
Love it.
mad. He got mad, and I
Love
was like,
it.
"This is perfect.
Yes.
This is great."
Yeah.
And what's best about that is Belichick did that literally a month ago.
Yeah, no,
Can't write a better script
know.
than that. You really
No,
can't.
no.
It was perfect.
And who was it that we were talking about was also on the team? There was somebody else. Oh boy, it
It
was.
was on the Patriots team.
Yeah, who the hell was it? It was
It
just
could have been. Was it Logan Ryan by any chance?
Logan Ryan.
Oh yeah. Logan Ryan.
Oh, with the pick
With the
six?
pick six on top of that, which makes it even better.
Yeah,
It-
not only getting outfoxed by the student, but getting the final.
Getting the
I think that's one of
dagger.
your
The
previous.
dagger by your old player. That's freaking great. But let's talk about that a little bit. Obviously, that was a very good game going on between those two. What did you see in that game?
See, this is one I called. I hated this matchup for the Patriots. I've said it a bunch on this podcast throughout the year. The teams that the Patriots struggle with are teams that can run the ball pretty much as their only method of attack and have enough of a defense to slow down the Patriots in any way. Tennessee checked both boxes. All week I said I'm calling it now. The Tennessee Titans
did.
are winning this game.
You
All
absolutely
week
did.
I was calling that, and so when it came to fruition, I sat back and gloated a little bit. It was good times for me. And if you look at just the numbers, it's exactly what I said it was happening. Derrick Henry is the only person that really needed to play for Tennessee. That's the only person. He went nuts. They ran the ball 40 friggin' times.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Exactly. They didn't show any reason to stop it. So
Like,
why
I
not?
close my eyes, and I'm scared of Derrick Henry. That is a monster.
He's a monster. He's
Yeah.
like a linebacker as a running back.
But runs a 4.3. Like,
Yeah, it's not.
that's
It's not fair.
nightmarish.
They literally haven't had a running back that big since probably Brandon Jacobs with the Giants.
I'm telling you, if you Google Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram. There's a picture of them at an Alabama game.
Yeah.
Just to see the size difference between Mark Henry, who's a stocky, big guy, and see Derrick Henry, it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. So
They couldn't stop him, though. There was no stopping.
they only threw the ball 15 times. That's all.
That's all they
Let
needed.
me rephrase. 16 because Mariota for some reason got in there.
Yeah, how did that?
But
Tannehill only threw.
Tannehill was 8 of 15.
Yeah.
At one point, we're looking up at the garage bar the other night, it's fourth quarter. I'm like, holy crap, he's thrown 8 times. 8. That's what he was at the time, and that's what I saw. It's just a dominant running team that just said, sure, by all means, you try to beat us with your massively inconsistent offense and very weak running game, and they couldn't do it. Tennessee was up to the challenge for that, and nobody on the Patriots was willing to stand in front of Derrick.
Oh, no, not in the fourth quarter.
No. They're like, you know what? We're sore. Just go.
You know what they did that we always say, if you just do this, you can beat the Patriots offense, is
Get
put
to Tom
pressure
Brady.
on Tom Brady.
Yep.
You don't even have to hit him.
No.
Just make him uncomfortable. And as soon as he gets the slightest uncomfortable, he's inconsistent for the whole rest of the game.
Well, you watched him over and over and over trying to connect with Julian Edelman, and it just wasn't there on
Nope.
that day at all. A lot of drops, just not there. So
It made every bit of, I know for Jamie's sake, every bit of that earlier game worth it, watching that
That is
game.
true. That is true.
For sure.
So now
Yes.
they move on and they get Baltimore,
Yeah.
and that might be a little bit of a tougher match. Ray, I'm going to go to you. What do you
Yeah.
see in that game?
It makes me nervous because I do think Derrick Henry is a better running back, but Baltimore has a better defense, and Baltimore has Lamar Jackson, the running back, and Ingram, the running. Like, they're not going to throw the ball. It's going to be smash mouth. It's going to be ugly. But I just think the Ravens have too much talent.
Yeah.
They have more talent than Tennessee, who I also think is a year away. I just don't see Baltimore unless there's a rust factor from the last 2 weeks, and that's kind of what makes me nervous. Is that if Tennessee jumps out quick, it's gonna be hard for Baltimore to come back because they'll control the clock. You already saw Vrabel playing the mind games with running the clock. They're a smart team, and you have 2 smart teams going up against each other that'll run the ball. And it'll be ugly if there is a rust factor, though. That's the only thing that concerns me about Baltimore.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Right off the bat, I would automatically say, without a doubt, Baltimore, they're going to kill him. But I'm going right with that, the rust factor. The Ravens starters have not been on the field since December 22nd. They're all young. You don't know how they're going to react. I think they probably should have played those starters a little bit just to give them a little, having that bye week, it can kill people. And right now, Tennessee is hot.
Right.
They are hot. And the thing with the Baltimore also is Ingram is still questionable. They don't even know if he's going to play. And if that's the case, Gus Edwards, Gus, our buddy Gus. It's not really our buddy Gus, but it's a different Gus Edwards. I don't know if he's going to be able to do as much damage as Mark Ingram.
Well, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So, I mean, the key word for Tennessee is, honestly, Tennessee's defense is a lot better against quarterbacks, running quarterbacks. They keep them in check a lot better. They've never gone up against Lamar Jackson, so you don't know how they're going to react, but they are much, much better against running quarterbacks. But if they can just keep doing what they're doing with Derrick Henry, and they got to get Brown in the game. They have to get Brown more in the game. You only have one catch, which obviously Tannehill only had 15 passes, but he was also going against Stephon Gilmore. So I think they're going to have a lot more better chances to get A.J. Brown in the game. So it's going to be a huge factor for them.
I agree. And then Tannehill didn't have to do anything. So for him to get his first playoff victory by not doing anything, you took that gorilla off your back.
Yeah.
He's been playing better than, the majority of quarterbacks in the league over the past 8 weeks. So I want to see what Tannehill can do.
Yeah, he might not be as nervous coming into this game.
They beat Kansas City. They hung in with New Orleans. Tennessee has beaten some teams that are, high caliber. They beat the Texans,
I think if
legitimate
anybody's
teams.
going to beat
Legitimate.
Baltimore, this is the chance that's going to happen with Tennessee this week.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's an interesting one. So
I'm crossing my
Oh,
fingers.
and
this is just hope at this
Yeah.
point.
No,
yeah.
I really do think
Hope
that,
and hatred. Yeah.
And I meant
Open
I took
hatred.
Tennessee to make the playoffs. You guys took Pittsburgh. That's what I meant. Not that.
no,
you know,
I
caught.
can't help
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
No, no,
it
I get
took
it.
took me
Yeah,
it took me a minute, but I got there. So, but
Homer factor.
Yeah.
going with what these guys were even saying as far as that goes, my fear, I guess you can say, if you're Baltimore, is the only experience Lamar Jackson has is one of the ugliest damn games I've ever seen in my entire life from a quarterback last year. It was bad. He was overwhelmed, and I understand that getting that under your belt helps. But still, he was terrible. He was the reason that they lost that game last year.
That's got to be somewhere in his memory.
Exactly. And additionally, you add into the December 22nd factor. We're not talking about seeing these guys till this weekend. So it's damn near an entire month. And the one thing I don't like about Jackson's season, despite it being an MVP season, is he hasn't been challenged too much. And when he has been challenged, he hasn't put teams away in any way. He hasn't looked like the same quarterback that's throwing perfect ratings, against like the Bengals when they're up 41-10.
Right.
So but when teams were able to minimize his running ability, look at Buffalo, for example, as one of them, and San Francisco was another one. He didn't look the same. He wasn't the same player. He wasn't electric. He just kind of was there and managed. He had to depend on a Mark Ingram. Gus Edwards is not Mark Ingram. So that's the scariest part. On the Tennessee side of the ball, though, this is a defense that's as hot as that offense has been in Tennessee. So Baltimore's defense has probably been one of the best in the NFL for probably 2 months. And that's not an easy game plan. So I think no matter what, Baltimore still takes that, but it's probably going to be a lot uglier of a game than I think a lot of people are thinking.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of injuries in that game.
Oh, it's going to be brutal. There's going to be, just people are going to be hitting everybody with cannons at this point. They're going to put everything into that, and it's going to affect the AFC Championship game one way or another.
Gonna be a bloodbath.
Exactly.
Moss, who do you say you got?
I'm going to take Tennessee.
Really?
I am.
Wow.
Okay.
No Goochers today, sir. No Goochers.
Definitely not. Right off the bat with no Goocher.
Yeah, Ray, what do you got?
Man, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Baltimore.
There you go.
Baltimore.
But I did.
Well, that's a different story.
I did.
What if
I did
somebody didn't
enjoy.
put a gun to your head?
Baltimore. But I did enjoy. I did enjoy the Dolphins beating the Patriots the last week of the season to put them in the wild card, and then Tannehill finishing them off. That was good.
That's the best
That was
part
good.
about it. Yeah.
So
Back-to-back Dolphins.
from a Dolphins fan,
Yeah.
And you know what? Congratulations to Tannehill on that, because pretty much everybody across the country had written that guy off.
yeah, no, I still write him
He's
off.
finally in a
I still
system that
dislike
works
him,
with him.
so it's fine.
They had all written him off and said, like, garbage, he's going to end up nowhere. And who knew?
Yep.
All of a sudden, boom, he's doing magic up there. So
My thing is make Pittsburgh not making the playoffs count. Now.
Good point. That's a good point.
always the homer spin.
It
I
is.
love it.
There
I love
always-
it.
there's
we
always
got
a
to
spin.
drink more champagne.
Uh-oh.
That means I'm going to have to get a refill. But before we do that and
Luck
go to
with
our
that.
break, Moss, you have trivia?
Too.
You do. Let's make it official here. What are we doing?
Yes. Okay, so here we go with this week's Moss's Mindbender trivia question. We're now into the first week of the NFL playoffs. So my question for you is, Seattle Seahawks running back Marshawn Lynch has gone over 100 rushing yards 6 times in the NFL postseason during his career. He has a chance to tie the record of 7 times. So who are the other 2 running backs that finished their careers with 7 games of 100 and plus rushing yards in the postseason? What 2 running backs finished their careers with 7 games of 100 plus rushing yards in the postseason? We're going to find out that answer right after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
Welcome back to the second down of 3 and Out, brought to you by Disruption Network and MyGarageBar.com. Before the break, I hit you with my Moss's Mindbender. That question was, what 2 running backs finished their careers with 7 games of 100-plus rushing yards in the postseason? The answer is, first one, Emmitt Smith, who is the all-time leading rusher in the regular season and the postseason. Postseason, he had 1,586 yards and 19 touchdowns during his career. The other one is Terrell Davis, who was a monster in the postseason. He scored 8 touchdowns in the single postseason, which is an NFL record. So there you have it, folks. Moss's Mindbender.
I think Moss drank too much.
I did not. It's hard to read on my phone.
Drank too much of that champagne.
The fine champagne, yeah.
I went to get some during the break. I was like, I'll have some more, and it was gone.
It was gone.
And yeah, look at that. Mazat said Bettis and Emmitt Smith. So he did. He got half right.
Half right, but there you go.
Oh, hey, man.
I think Emmitt Smith was kind of unanimous, I think, yeah.
I didn't guess Terrell Davis.
I didn't either. That's why I snapped my fingers when she said it. I was wrong on that.
No. So there you go.
There you have it.
Too much champagne.
No.
Oh, boy. Should we tackle the NFC?
Why not?
Absolutely.
Should we do it? Should we do it?
We,
Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I enjoyed seeing the Patriots go out, I was probably equally as happy to see the Saints
Yeah.
go out.
really?
Yeah.
He has a reason.
And I'm going to, obviously the Vikings, they're kind of their thorn in their side lately.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Sean Payton fan. I'm just not.
Really?
And what was it, 2 weeks ago? Right, 2 weeks ago, the last season game? Yeah. So watching Sean Payton keep Drew Brees in all through the fourth quarter and just ring that score right up, man. And I get it. He's trying to get those stats for Drew Brees.
Yeah.
But I thought, boy, this would be kind of almost poetic justice
Right.
if either Brees got hurt or what I would rather see is they just lose the first round. And lo and behold, boom, it happened again. And so sorry, Saints fans. I was actually on board with that. But that was a hell of a game. It
Yeah.
really was. And I'll start with you, Ray. What did you see in that game?
It was just nice to see Kirk Cousins evolve.
Yeah.
He's no longer a punchline. And I think
That's true.
I think in Washington he was a decent quarterback. Coming in after RG3 being drafted in the same class. And then the RG3 thing didn't work out. His talent level in Washington for himself and around him was terrible. That whole organization is terrible. But
Sorry,
I
Washington
think,
fans.
the fact that he somehow survived that, got that big contract. I knew it was going to take a year for them to all gel to get timing down with those, stud receivers Diggs and Thean. And then Kyle Rudolph is underrated.
Yeah.
And then I didn't think Delvin Cook was going to be this good as he is. I thought the injuries that piled up, I thought he was done. But it was really nice to see Kirk Cousins, who's the butt of everybody's jokes.
The Seahawks, as beat up as they are still dancing and will hit the dance.
Well, that's me trying to find a website. Are we going to look at the stats? Don't worry about it.
Don't look up stuff.
I just think it was nice to see that. And the Vikings really do own the Saints.
Yeah, they do.
And the refs do too, because that's the second pass interference or third.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ever since the Saints won the Super Bowl, there's been a voodoo curse. That was a Bourbon Street analogy. But it was. I just think it was nice to see Kirk Cousins make that leap.
Make my head hurt
You're welcome.
sometimes.
Wow, that was good. I'm too quick for you, man.
I just want to say that I probably am one of the only ones that said that Minnesota was going to make the playoffs
You did say that.
Ooh.
You did say that.
Okay.
around here. So at the end of the day, you got to give credit where credit is due, and that's Minnesota's defense. That what they were able to do to Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Honestly, they kept him in check. They didn't let him, go crazy like normal
Right.
Drew Brees and Everson Griffin. I mean, the whole night they were top notch. And like you said with Kirk Cousins, it really was nice. Kyle Rudolph is such a big part of that offense, and I never, like you said, ever would have thought I would have seen Dalvin Cook that good.
There you go. My surprise is, first off, the only Saint that actually did anything was probably Taysom Hill. I hate to say it that way, but it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, you're right.
What's weird is Sean Payton got in his own damn way at this point. They ran for nothing except for Taysom Hill, of all people. Alvin Kamara gets 7 carries. They really thrust it right into Drew Brees, and that was it. You pretty much became one-dimensional and almost made it easy on Minnesota to just read and react to what you're doing. So, your hatred towards Sean Payton, probably at least well-deserved.
Justified, yes.
Well-deserved on this one because he pretty much coached them out of this game. He coached them a little bit out of this game. Dalvin Cook coming off of a pretty decent injury a few weeks back. He wasn't overly effective. He only had like 3.4 yards a carry, something like that. It wasn't much, but they kept feeding the ball. They didn't quit on the run, and he gets in the end zone twice. So he still showed that he was he was determined to go out there and actually have himself a nice, decent game. And Kirk Cousins was more than effective in this game. So. Really, watching that game, the only thing I can really say is that it was tight, it was close, and so for fans, that we weren't disappointed all weekend on any of those games.
No, it was a great one.
Any of those games, if you watched that, you probably would have been at least mildly involved, even if you're not a fan. But other than that, if you're a Saints fan, that's some disappointment, man. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's way too much offensive firepower to lay what is essentially a donut. 20 points for that offense is being shut out at that point.
You're right.
Before the NFL Network or the NFL.com decided to play a video for me every time I tried to play, I was trying to figure out how many passing yards that Breeze has, but I guess it didn't.
I thought it was under 200.
It was just over. He was. I'm going to try to see if I get this off the top of my head. So I'm going to try to beat her. I want to say he was 37, I think it was, or something like that, for 202.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhere 206, somewhere in that area.
Well, yeah.
I could be mixing that up with Brady's stats because it was just as
bad,
abysmal.
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought Peyton got too cute with the play calling.
Yeah.
He was trying to show his offensive genius a little too much. The only plays that worked were the surprise plays with Taysom Hill.
Yep.
But I also want to point out Diggs was upset on the sideline for the Vikings, and he was throwing a tantrum that he wasn't getting the ball. He wasn't, involved. What makes Kirk Cousins different this year is he went over to Diggs, and he basically told him, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're good.
And then he throws 50-50 balls, and Diggs can get those all day.
Sure.
So I think that's a difference in Kirk Cousins, where he would normally just sit on the sideline, sit down, and let the diva wide receiver have a temper tantrum. He went up and let him know that I'm coming to you. And I think that's the difference. And he does need to make the Super Bowl for me to kind of negate the Case Keenum thing, because right now he's on the same level as Case Keenum, but you're paying him $88 million.
Right.
So he's got to go a little bit further for me before I say this has been a success, because I think you could have ran it back with Keenum and it would have been just the same.
Yep.
But it was nice to see that where he's no longer the butt of jokes everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
I got it right here. 26 of 33 for 208 yards, 1 touchdown, and interception.
So I was close on the yards. All right. So
Sometimes I hate you, Jamie. So.
Hey, that's not bad. I think the 20 of 37 was literally Brady's though. So I think I combined the two.
Well, it's funny you say that he's got to move forward in order to shake that off, because now they get to play San Francisco.
Uh-oh.
So, and I know that we've aside from Ray Nation, we've all been pretty much on the San Francisco train.
He hates the 49ers.
He does.
Really hates.
I don't know.
I don't get it either.
Except for the 1 week they lost.
Yeah, he picked them. He picked them. That's great.
I think they won him money. That's why.
I got to tell you, I think this by far of the 4 games is the best matched game.
San Fran and Minnesota.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely. I think it could honestly go either way. But I think San Fran's just got a little bit of an edge, and I think that's probably more because they're home.
But you could be talking the same type of thing we were mentioning before.
Very true, but they didn't sit their
factor.
They don't. I don't think they sat all their players that last.
But
week,
you've also got some very young players that don't have that playoff experience in there.
True.
So could happen. Jamie, what do you think?
Shanahan can't get cute. This is the one thing that can't happen. Where the Niners have struggled this year, when they've started to really fall down, a lot of it was over the last month and a half of the season. Don't get me wrong; they played some great games. Seattle comes to mind, and
Both
prime time,
Seattle games,
especially the first primetime one was outstanding. But what I saw out of them when they started to kind of let the foot off the gas is he got cute and decided to say, Jimmy G, you take us to the promised land. Dude, that's not your squad. That is not your team. Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida are your team. Those are your guys. Use them.
Yep.
They absolutely punched the Browns. I know it's the Browns, but they punched them in the mouth early in the season before all the hell broke loose. And they use those two to do it. So do it again. You got to make sure that the run game gets off the ground. If they come out trying to match arm for arm, Minnesota's walking away with this. I don't think Garoppolo has enough games under his belt. As Moss just mentioned, the youth is going to be a problem. As you just mentioned, that's going to be the bigger problem. I don't think he has enough experience under his belt to actually maintain that with a guy like Kirk Cousins, who has been a punchline for his entire career and is now getting some good, valuable game time in.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of guys you're going to see going into this week of games. They don't have a lot of playoff experience. All it takes is just a little.
Thank God, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
This
you
game
could
is
see him
gonna,
get rattled.
This game is going to be a defensive game. That's all there is to it. Two great defenses. Probably one of the two best in the NFL going up against each other.
So you said the Vikings or San Fran?
I think it's going to be just by a hair. I'm going San Fran.
She's going San
by
Fran.
just a fraction.
I apparently just don't agree with Moss on anything.
And that's all right.
I'm actually going to go with Minnesota. They've done enough offensively to show me that I think they're going to take the Niners. I just have a weird feeling the Niners are going to come out a little too flat for about a quarter and a half, and that's going to be enough to bury them.
All right. So Vikings, San Fran. Right. Who you got and why?
Yeah, so, I mean, this can go 50-50.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Flip a coin.
gun to the head again.
Yeah.
Why do you keep putting guns to my head?
I know.
I'm going to go San Fran because I think the receivers are obviously high in favor for Minnesota, but I think Deebo Samuel and Emmanuel Sanders are just as effective for Jimmy. So, yeah, I'm going to go San Fran. First playoff game home in a long time. I think that crowd's going to be ridiculous. Not that it wasn't in New Orleans, right? But I'm going to go with San Fran by a hair.
San Fran has a better defense than New Orleans does, so much better defense.
But just like the Tennessee, like you said, they're coming in. Minnesota's coming.
Yeah, they are coming hot.
Hot.
I honestly wish this was the NFC Championship game. I really do.
Yeah, it would be good.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Well, what would have been good about that is that you would have seen two teams, one of them at least, that hasn't been there in a long time with the chance to go play the Super Bowl. So I guess I can't say it. San Fran went.
You know what would really be great?
San Fran was a dynasty for a while.
Is to see the Patriots see Jimmy G go on to the Super Bowl after
New
they
England, yeah.
got rid of him. I don't even
It's all full circle.
Yep. See that?
But the other game, of course, and I don't know how you guys felt about this. I wasn't as impressed in this game with the Eagles and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't really think that the Eagles were going to bring a lot into this game because we never really had a whole lot of faith in anybody out of the NFC East anyways. But Seattle looked, at least to me, they looked a little bit flat. Maybe I'm not giving Philly enough credit, but I didn't really see.
Well, my thing is, it is difficult when you travel from West Coast to East Coast. So, in Seattle has been known to fall flat when they come and play East Coast games.
Yeah.
Then it's a home game for Philly. That crowd is
insane.
Pretty nuts.
And they're mean though.
They're nasty. Yeah.
So they're one of the worst crowds in the NFL.
And I guess I'm the down Philly guy. I don't believe in Philly at all.
Yeah.
I didn't the past couple of weeks I was on the show. Like Carson Wentz to me, I still say you should have kept Foles and then traded Wentz to some fool GM
Well,
like John
Elway. They
Elway.
had done that now.
Like John Elway, right? John Elway would have given you anything for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So, Seattle coming out flat, it still worked out in their favor. They still had more talent than Philly. And I'm not a believer in Philly anymore. Ever. I've never.
I mean, things could have been a little bit different also if Wentz didn't go out with. I guess that was a concussion.
Yeah.
Another concussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Ertz was also hurt, and that's the only guy he throws to.
Yes.
Besides Dallas Goedert after Ertz goes down.
I honestly think that if Wentz hadn't gotten hurt, that Seattle might have lost that game.
I
That's a
agree.
possibility.
I actually agree with that too.
I think Seattle started out hot, and they have just gone downward. They have been on a downward spiral ever since, and that seems to happen to them a lot of times in the playoffs. And unfortunately, I think that's going to take effect for them for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's mentioned the name that's actually probably the biggest X factor, and that's Chris Carson. He's not there.
No, he's gone.
He gone bye. He's done for the year.
So is Penny.
They're all
And
down
so,
for the
is,
year.
so is Rashard Penny. So
That's why they had to bring in,
that
that guy.
that team is built for running, and always has been. And despite the MVP caliber season that Russell Wilson, especially the way he started, the way it was at least, he doesn't really have receivers. He's got his biggest target right now is a rookie in DK Samuel there, I'm sorry,
Metcalf.
thank you. I mixed two rookie receivers together. I
You
apologize.
did. Same division, too.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, combined.
How dare you?
Yeah,
Probably,
I know.
Probably the colors you're wearing today.
At least I caught it, so shut up. Anyway, so but the biggest problem with that is they don't really have a great receiving core in any way, shape, or form, and they depend on Russell Wilson to spin around and do jumping jacks and then throw the ball, and somehow it comes down being caught. But before he does that, he hands the ball to Chris Carson, and Rashard Penny is the change of pace back. Their running back right now is a kid named Homer, who I had to look up the stats on this because it made me chuckle. He had a long of 12 yards. Fantastic. You know how many yards he had for the game?
12.
12.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
11 carries, 12 yards. That was his stat line, all right?
Your setup is predictable. That was good, though.
But you like
I love it.
At least I
I love
tried
it.
to
It's
set
great.
it up. Thank
But
you.
it's the delivery.
But
I like
it's all about the delivery.
I like
12
this going
yards.
on between you two.
Yeah, there's a reason you sit between us,
I
Moss.
know
'cause
it's very weird to be sitting between you two. You
becoming
guys got something going on.
blows otherwise. So
Can I ask you guys something? And I don't know how you feel about this. Am I the only one that doesn't like the whole idea that Marshawn Lynch can come back at the very end and just jump in on a winning team?
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I mean, really, he's about to get paid a couple $1,000,000 to play a game.
Yeah. And I mean, it would have worked
Yeah.
the same way had we were talking about Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Just too. I just don't dig that, man. I don't dig somebody sits out the entire year and then the first
Just
playoff game.
Yeah, do they
here I
just
am.
throw him right in?
I just always
Yeah.
did that. So.
I'm not.
I can see that.
Yeah, and I'm not more of a fan of doing that for one reason. If you're a teammate of that, like say you're the running back, say they don't get hurt. Say like Rashad Penny doesn't get hurt. He's the backup running back. You sign Marshawn Lynch. It's kind of a slap in the face, man. What, I'm not good enough? Yeah, I think the rest of the room feels it a little bit more. In this case, it was more of a necessity, though. But
I also think, though, like Moss was saying, they've kind of fall flat. And that's a guy that has history there. That,
Maybe he can bring.
maybe he can bring some
momentum
energy
back.
left.
Yeah.
sure, but again, those two names I mentioned, that's my fear right now. Is Carson's had a phenomenal season.
Yeah, he's really underrated.
he's been outstanding. And now you don't have a running game. I'm sorry, Marshawn Lynch wasn't even that good in Oakland when he went there, and now you're having him come back to Seattle after, a lot of time off, and expect him to put anything into. I don't care how much leadership you give; it's not going to be enough if you don't have anybody to hand the ball to. It's
He
still a
wants to
Russell
break
Wilson
that record
factor.
of my trivia question.
He's not getting to 100 yards.
No,
Trust
he's
me.
not.
So the flatness is the unfortunate part is on the 11-man side of the offensive side of the ball. It's literally Russell Wilson and nobody else. And I hate to say it that way, but that dude has to pretty much put on his cape like he always has. But now he needs probably an extra one.
Right.
Yeah, going in, playing the Packers this week.
Oh man,
That's
It's all over, man.
that's the game for me. I know you guys said San Fran, Minnesota, but watching Russell and Aaron go at it again, because they always meet in the playoffs, and
it's always fantastic.
yeah. So that's the game I'm most excited about, and I really want to see because Aaron hasn't been playing particularly well.
No,
So it's kind of like which one is gonna bring it for just this one game.
You know what's going to be the factor in that game? The other Aaron.
Yes.
What the
Yeah.
other Aaron can do
Yes.
for Green Bay. And if he is productive, then I think Green Bay takes it.
Aaron Jones has been ridiculously hot. He's actually almost hidden some of the problems that Aaron Rodgers has had. And with all that, we're saying problems. We're only saying that Aaron Rodgers is having problems because it's not superhuman anymore.
Exactly.
He's above average. Shame on you, Aaron. Stop doing commercials. Apparently, you'll be incredible again. I don't know,
But State Farm.
but State Farm is State Farm is there to pay him a ton of cash. So
It's
keep-
not
you
even
do
his
you,
commercial
man.
anymore. It's Pat
Pat
Mahomes.
Mahomes,
Pat Mahomes
yeah.
is in it now.
That's
I
true.
know. You know, at the end of the day, whoever wins this game isn't beating whoever wins the Minnesota San Fran game.
Oh, that's see, I think that's a tough one. Look,
That's what I.
Green
my
Bay
call.
has played a ton of tight games all season, and they always seem to come up on top.
Same with Seattle. Seattle's the exact same team.
Exactly, but now the difference is this is where I put the matchup to. It's the injuries and the fact that Seattle lost two major pieces is not good. And so I think Green Bay is just got more of that superhuman ability to them right now than Seattle does. Don't get me wrong. If this could be a 1 point game. Seriously, a 1 point game.
Yeah, on the last play, Hail Mary from either one.
But I want to see frozen tundra, snowstorm. I want to see real football this weekend.
Yeah, say I don't win that.
As opposed to last weekend?
That was another riff.
I don't think you're going to see that.
Cheers! That's why you bring me here.
Seattle plays better on the road this year, though.
What's the last
So
Dolphin
that's
game
the
you
only thing.
I was just going to say, actually, that's a tall
They've been
order,
playing
back-to-back road games. But
But they've been
maybe
playing
not.
better on
They've
the road
done it,
this
though.
year.
Yeah.
They've done it before.
That's true. So, what did we say?
Yeah, I like Green Bay because it is Lambeau, and
Okay, Green Bay.
I have a weird feeling that the weather's going to suck, and that's going to be a little bit tougher for Seattle. It's going to be tight, though.
Green Bay.
Guess what, Jamie?
Yeah, we don't agree again.
No, I'm going to agree with you.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna
No.
go,
Oh, man.
I'm going to go with Green Bay.
Okay.
Hell froze over.
I don't want either
so.
either one of those teams in the Super Bowl, though. I will say that.
No, I'm going Seattle.
Oh, all right. Looks like we're not going to
Yes.
get a Goocher for the night. It's just
I
not
got
going to
it,
happen. No Goochers. Oh,
No
my-
Goocher.
It's the beauty of playoff football, though. It's never going to happen that way because, and neither one of us are wrong.
Well,
And,
listen.
none of us are. Yeah.
We got 50-50
It's
shot.
like a 50-50 chance at this point.
I was going to say, as we're getting down on the games, I mean, we just, sometimes somebody's going to have to agree on something.
We're going to either agree, or actually, most of the time, we're probably all going to be wrong anyway, so
Yeah,
it doesn't really
that's
matter.
We're not experts.
There's the honesty.
We're the non-experts.
No. The truth of it is, if you had my picks from last week, I was 2 for 2. Actually, I sent them to you. Too.
Yeah, and
I did.
I
send
told
them
you
to
I was I was debating on 2 games, so I would have been 3-1. But
I picked Baltimore and New Orleans, and I don't think either one, obviously not New Orleans, and I don't have Baltimore anymore, so.
I had Buffalo, New Orleans. Whoops.
what, for the Super Bowl?
No. Just for
no,
for
It was a
winning.
joke.
Yeah,
It was a joke.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Jamie, let me ask you: Did you bring an IR with us today, or
Sort of.
sort of?
Is it sort of? Yeah.
Can we sort of play the music?
Yeah, you can.
All right, here we go.
All right. And now for this week's IR, I'm throwing a curveball. And this is almost a 2-parter. So instead of actually giving you an injury and discussing what it's about, I figured I would talk about the actual rules of the IR in the NFL a little bit and how this actually works. So first and foremost, you can put any player on IR if they have an injury that you believe is going to last them longer than what they say is 8 games. And by games, they don't mean the bye week. It has to be 8 full played games. So with a player on IR, you can have them up to that 8 week point, excuse me. But after 6 weeks, you can actually remove them if you want to designate them off to practice. Still, they have to wait the entire 8 games to do that. Change in 2017, you can now actually have 2 players on IR at one time. This is where the tie-in comes into, because J.J. Watt this past week came off IR and Gibson was put on IR to play this last week's playoff game against the Buffalo Bills, for recovering miraculously from a torn pectoral muscle. One that after surgery was said to be about 3 to 4 months, and for normal people, it's 4 to 6 months, man. That's a long time. He comes back in about 9 weeks. Holy crap. But he's been practicing since Christmas Eve. So with J.J. Watt and the Houston Texans, they have 3 weeks from the time he steps on a practice field to designate him eligible to return and remove him from the IR or not. If you miss that 3-week window, he cannot play for the remainder of the season. For J.J. Watt, he was obviously shy of that by about 8 days, so they were able to bring him on, and he wreaked a little bit of havoc, actually. Made a difference, at least from a leadership role. Did have a sack against the Buffalo Bills and looked like the crazy, insane former defensive player of the year that he's always been. So with that, despite the fact that it took my team out, J.J. Watt, I'm actually glad to see you come back because you are one hell of a defensive lineman. It's always fun and intense to watch play. So for this week, I'm Jamie. This has been this week's IR.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broken everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
Yeah. Jamie, that's
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
It took a lot out of me to actually give kudos to a man that just beat my team.
That's what I was going to say, man. So good on you.
But hey, man, you know what?
There's a lot of respect
You
for
got
that guy,
you
though.
got to appreciate how good of a damn player he is. Regardless, I think even sitting at the bar with you guys, I joked that like it's nice to see him play, but he can just be better like next season.
Next season.
Yeah.
He's a good guy too. I mean, he's done a lot.
He
for the
is, especially
community and-
with what was it the floods and all that
Yeah,
stuff, the
yeah.
hurricane that came through, and I mean he
Yeah.
was all over the place with that. So you can't even hate the guy.
Oh, no.
Tom Brady, you can hate.
Absolutely.
Oh, I mean.
Diaper.
The diaper. He's got leg holes. Look at his chin strap. He actually has leg holes for his adult diaper.
It does. It looks like a diaper on it.
You
Said that a million times.
Now
Crazy.
you can't unsee it.
No,
it's over.
what is seen cannot be unseen.
Yep.
Listen, so to close this show out for today, we're going to just do one thing. Some coaching changes. Coaching changes that we
Yes.
just yeah. And I'm gonna admit this. I feel like an idiot because I knew that he was going. We all kind of knew Jason Garrett. We knew,
Right.
he was going, but I don't remember seeing anything that it was like a done deal.
Yeah, they didn't make like an official announcement that they fired him.
They did.
It was
yesterday.
weird.
It
They
was
just kind of like under the radar. Kind of were.
They almost hired a
Some
new coach
interviews.
before letting anybody know that they officially fired him, which was really bizarre.
Yeah.
I think they were interviewing people as he was still
So
there.
weird, yeah.
And it was like, okay, I guess no better way to tell me that I'm getting canned here than
Interview
start
other
interviewing
coaches?
people.
Well, I thought it was
Yeah.
because his contract runs out on the 14th of January. So technically, he
Won't be officially.
yeah.
off
So
Oh, I see what you're saying.
so it's not like he got
so he wasn't
fired.
actually
They're just
fired.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just not giving him a new contract.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, well,
Still kind of a.
It was weird.
it's still crappy.
It was really weird. He actually
Not
had,
saying.
he had 2 interviews for the Dallas job. Seriously,
Yeah, no.
2. That's what the delay was. They were interviewing Jason Garrett twice.
Really? I never understand things, man.
Seriously, dude.
Well, especially in Dallas, I don't get it at all.
Yeah,
Have fun with that. Your new boss, Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
Bye. I never.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't see that match working.
What's that?
Mike McCarthy.
Oh, Mike
now,
McCarthy and
you know.
Jerry Jones.
oh, I
No.
do.
I don't.
Really?
It's just not going to work. Like,
Yeah.
I see them getting along because Mike McCarthy needs to rebuild his image. Because if you read that stuff that happened in Green Bay, guys upstairs missing meetings, getting massages. Maybe he should go to New England.
Ooh, Robert Kraft has him on there. Right?
Fit right in, huh?
Yeah,
He's got him on his tab.
New England. Yes.
I got
Yeah,
a great
he's got more.
I got a great place I know of right around the corner.
You'll love it.
Oh my god.
They give you the old happy end.
All right, I'm going to bring it back here before we go too far
Yes.
off the rails, though.
Do it.
Oh
Anyway,
my god.
Yeah.
Was that inappropriate?
Yeah.
Listen, so the other thing we wanted to talk about real quick was retiring, possibly. Tom Brady obviously just played his last game,
Jeez,
or so
for the
they
love
say,
of God.
with New England. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring him back. Maybe they won't. But what do you guys think? Is he going to end up back in New England? Is he going to hit the road? Is he going to
Here's the thing. I'm sorry, Jamie. I
Go
just
ahead.
got right up.
Get it, boss. That's what I'm
Go ahead and
talking
do
about.
it.
Listen,
get America?
the guy should just end his career by throwing a pick six and be done with it. But he's so greedy that he's going to come back and he's going to play another year with the damn Patriots.
You think so?
Good. Honestly, good. Here's the beauty of it. If
With the butt chin, right?
well, sure. I need
It's
more. I
glorious.
need more ammo. That's
It's
all it
glorious
is.
butt chin.
I need more ammo to talk trash about the guy. But here's the thing: the offense sucked all year, and everybody's clamoring for him to get better receivers and better this and this and this and this and this. He's played in the past with bad receivers, and he's done fine. Yeah. He's still
Maybe
had.
it's not the receiver.
He still had Julian Edelman this year. And Julian Edelman still had a huge season. So stop pointing the damn finger and please come back, because now I want to see the epic meltdown of your career, because you're about to be a 43-year-old guy trying to sling a ball. I don't know why he was dressed like somebody going to complain to a manager on the way into the field the other day. You see, what
He looked
the
like
hell is
Dopey.
that? Yeah.
He looked like a seven
Holy
dwarf.
God.
He had the same
Dopey.
outfit.
Check
Yeah,
our
it's
page out for the
It's
picture. That's
ridiculous.
the greatest.
But the worst part about this is I don't think that the Patriots franchise realizes the longer they keep this guy around, the bigger the fall is going to be when he leaves.
Exactly.
Because they have zero exit strategy right now for Tom Brady.
No, they have no backup.
They have nothing. So if they were wise, move on, man. He's obviously he's going to be gone before you are if you're Robert Kraft. So get the hell out of this as soon as you possibly
But do
can.
you really think that Belichick and Kraft are going to be like, we're just not going to sign you again? Do you really think they're going to do that?
I think
Or
Belichick.
they're going to
I
let
think
him go
Belichick
on his
doesn't.
own?
I honestly think Belichick probably doesn't want him around.
Right.
But
Really?
Robert Kraft has
Kraft's
already came out and said he's hoping and praying. I'm quoting the guy, praying that he comes back to the Patriots.
He's in love with him.
Yeah, well,
Loves him.
I don't see them letting him go unless it's on his choice, unless it's Brady's choice to leave.
Don't forget, years ago, like 2 years ago, when Garoppolo was still there,
Yeah.
that was the big thing that everybody was like, it's going to be either Belichick and Garoppolo, or it's going to be Kraft and Brady. And
Brady.
as it turned out, well, they all kept the band together. But
Yeah, well,
That's why I think it would be great if San Francisco went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they wanted to move on from Brady because Belichick's the GM too. So he was looking to move on and keep Jimmy G.
Yep.
So and then when Kraft stepped in and made that move, although you still got, I think you went to 2 Super Bowls and won one, or
yeah.
you still got that. But
fake.
Belichick
Yeah.
will get you out a year earlier than later.
Yeah, I think he was looking at the longevity
Yeah,
of the team.
and he's
absolutely.
right. And ultimately, if you look at this year, he's right. But I called Brady going to the Chargers like
a long time ago. Yeah,
So I think that's the spot because they don't have a fan base. They're opening a new stadium. They have 0 season tickets sold, by the way, right now. The Chargers.
Wow.
So you get Brady in there, right? And get Rivers out because he's going to go to Tampa Bay. That's what I called.
That's my next question.
Boom.
there you go.
But Brady, he already has a home in California. He's a California guy, and he's definitely not going to the 49ers, right? No. So, I really do see him as a Charger.
He's going to go to the 49ers and be a backup to
Jimmy G.
Garoppolo.
That would be
great.
hilarious.
I would love every moment of that.
I bet you Jimmy G would like haze the crap out of him too. Oh, you're not carrying my luggage? No, you're carrying my luggage.
You know what else? I know that it hasn't been
Wipe my windows.
I know it hasn't been sent down yet, but I know over the weekend that the NFL came out and said that they were punishing the Patriots for their
Right.
filming of the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
when are they going to do that in 3 years?
Right.
Who cares? But as far as that goes, if they do, this is something that's missed, because the last time this happened, they sent down the fines and the suspension right before the NFL draft, and that's where they lost their first round pick.
Yep.
So here's the other thing: what if you move on during free agency from Tom Brady and then lose your first round pick?
Oh my God.
You won't have a shot at any of the quarterbacks coming out.
Well,
You know, it's not a huge quarterback class either.
I actually think it is, and if you want me back on for a draft thing, like I'll be more than glad to do that.
I'll do that. I will do that.
No, I will be here, and we'll pop more champagne.
I think there's
and I'll have more bad jokes. So
We can get to that too. But I think there's 5 that are NFL caliber, but only 2 that are ready.
I think 9.
Oof. All right.
Wow.
We're going to definitely have to do a draft.
And I'm not saying all starters.
Yeah.
But I'm saying 9 will make it.
I hear a draft show.
But understand what we're
More
talking.
champagne.
We're talking about New England. They have to get somebody NFL ready.
Yeah, you have more than enough free agents.
They're going to
that
have
fit their
to.
style.
They're going to have to trade up to get that.
Oh
so.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
You have free
I
agents.
just don't think
man.
so.
You have free agents. Mariota, he would love Mariota. He would love Andy Dalton.
I would. You know what? I would love to see Mariota in New England.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they win twice.
Ooh.
Buffalo ain't losing those games.
No,
Mariota, you
no.
kidding?
So I was going to bring up Phillip Rivers' name.
Okay,
Right.
go ahead.
What happens with him?
So
He said Tampa.
yeah, quoting the great Tupac, he goes from Diego to the Bay. I just want to let you know. He goes to Tampa Bay, right? There, Jameis Winston is a psychopath.
I got off my couch for this.
You're welcome.
I don't have to say
You're welcome.
anything
From
about
Diego
Jameis
to the Bay, you're welcome. It's actually Dr. Dre. So
There you go.
I did that for you.
Thank you,
so,
sir.
I think he fits Bruce Arians.
Wordcraft.
Yeah. Jameis Winston is a liability. That man needs to be in a straitjacket.
Oh my God.
I don't know what he does. He's a maniac. But I think Rivers fits that better. They still have Evans. They still have Goodwin. Barber's good running back. The defense is picking up because Defensive Player of the Year should actually be Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, he's underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's at 18 and a half sacks for the year.
He might have hit 19 and a half. He was
Yeah,
up there.
he was
way up there.
He
Yeah.
could have potentially broke the Strahan record, but
Yes.
he didn't get a chance to do that because Jameis is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think Rivers goes to Tampa Bay, finishes out there from Diego to the Bay. I said it right here.
There you go.
Wordcraft right there.
Yeah, that's why you pay me. I don't-
Okay.
in Champagne.
And more of the comedy styling
Yeah.
there.
Well, gotta love him. Phillip Rivers, where the hell is he? I can't disagree. I don't think he's going to be with the Chargers, though. I can't.
right.
I can't disagree with Ray in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
No.
What was
Shush. No. I can disagree with him on certain things, but not
Did
this.
you just shush me?
No, I
that?
should.
No, me. He shushed me. It was totally me.
Moss
Nobody
is like-
shushes Moss.
Moss is like, I just drank a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
No one
Did not.
shushes.
I'm ready to come at you. No, I don't. I haven't thought about it enough to say where I think he's going to go, but Tampa is going to need a quarterback, and I mean Bruce Arians actually came out right after the season ended. Some reporter asked him like, can you win with another quarterback? You know, what do you? Basically, it was a softball version of is Jameis going to be around? And Bruce Arians said, "Well, I won with this guy, so I can win with anybody else." I might be a little
you
off
said-
on the word,
Nope.
on the wording, but it's damn close to paraphrasing that.
What you mean, this guy?
This guy, what does that mean?
Yeah, like I might be a little off. He goes, "Well, one with this guy, so I can do it with anybody else." And I went, "Oh man," he said anybody else too. Like so. Jameis Winston is gone, so that's a good spot. And I just think the Chargers for Anthony Lynn, it's going to be his third year. He's going to want to move on. He's going to want somebody that he can craft into his own way.
Listen, we're running short on time, so I'm going to
Yeah.
shoot this one at you, Moss.
Yeah.
Eli Manning.
Shoot. I think that he should just pack it up and say it's been a great career and I am done.
Yeah?
I think he should.
Call it quits, head out into the sunset? Yeah.
I don't think he has an option otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. And the final one, Drew Brees.
He's coming back, man. That loss is that's not the end of him.
Yeah, he's definitely coming back.
So
I would agree. He's not going to leave New Orleans now.
There you go.
bye Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll go to Tampa.
Indy.
Maybe.
Indy.
Yeah, you like him in Indy for some
I do like him in
I
Indy.
just want to know where Jameis Winston's going to go. W's.
You know what?
It's
I've said it for
W's.
years.
The
I
CFL.
don't have to even mention anything about Jameis Winston to you guys. You know how I feel about it. So
Yes.
It's been well documented.
Yes.
That's
the
absolutely.
Raiders.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
it starts with a J.
Starts with a J.
Can you imagine? Oh,
Jacksonville. It's the same. It's the
It's
same
not a
J.
team.
No, it's the same J.
Guys, I was going to try to have the receivers' new hit. Got a lot
Please don't.
to play us out, but apparently we don't have the copyrights to that. So we're going to have to just forego
I think it's
that.
like 3 words.
It is. So but we don't have the rights to it, so we're going to have to forego that. We're just going to have to wrap it up by saying I'm Rich Masucci, and for Ray, for Erica, and for Jamie, we'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the playoff games, and well, who are we rooting for, guys? Anybody?
Kansas City.
oof! I'm
just rooting for good football. That's all.
same weekend that we just had this past weekend. I want to see good games. That's
Yep.
it.
All right, go for good football.
Damn right.
Take care, guys. See you soon.
Miami.
Later.
Out.
Go Miami.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.